guys, it's Harmony Skillman from Paradise Travel and the blog Mama to Go, and I am sitting here on the beautiful National Geographic Explorer. We are just off the coast of Iceland right now, and before we head out for our next excursion, I just wanted to sit down with our regional sales director, Brent Centlivre, who is going to talk to us a little more about expedition cruising and National Geographic Lindblad in general. But I will say this itinerary has been fabulous. We're on day 5 here of the Arctic edges. We have been from the Westfjords of Iceland up to Greenland, and now we're heading back to Iceland to complete this expedition cruise. And I just can't wait to share this type of travel with more travelers. I think there's a lot of misconceptions and also just not a lot of information out there about what type of travel this is. This is definitely not your typical cruise or what you might be thinking of as a cruise, but it's been a great experience, and there are expeditions all over the world, and so I do want to talk a little more to Brent about that. So I guess I just want to start with, what is National Geographic Lindblad Expeditions?
Yeah, I mean, I think we start in the founding. Our company was founded in 1958 by Lars Erik Lindblad, and the whole reason why he came up with this company was he wanted to take people to the most remote places on Earth, so you'd feel impassioned to talk about those places and protect them. And honestly, yesterday hiking, that's when it hit me. We were in Greenland. I kept thinking, if I could talk to my 5th grade self, like, you're gonna go to Greenland and you're gonna walk around and there is no one for hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. And that's what this is about, is that you've got National Geographic, a brand that we've all trusted since 1888. They're the ones who are taking you on hikes and explaining vegetation and animals and going all around in these small groups to these incredible places on Earth. So for me, this is my first time to Iceland and Greenland, and to be able to be led around in smaller groups, learning about the culture, learning about the wildlife is really sensational. Lindblad is its own publicly traded company, but we've been affiliated with National Geographic for about 30 years, because if you think about it, you'd get the magazines, right? We'd all open it up and it would talk about Antarctica or the Galapagos or the Nile River, and Lindblad takes people to those same places. So it's a really a great alignment of our two brands. And then last year, when we renewed our agreement with them, we changed the name of the company to be National Geographic Lindblad Expeditions, and we also named the ships that we own and operate to be like National Geographic Explorer, National Geographic Resolution, to really solidify that partnership.
So who do you think this type of experience would be for? I was a little hesitant coming. I was a little nervous, but I really enjoyed this experience, and I'm not like a total crunchy nature person, but it just took me out of my comfort zone in some places, but also the lectures that we've had on board, the things that we've seen. But then I also have liked having the comforts of the ship and some of the great amenities on board. So it's definitely for a certain type of person. Do you want to talk more about who might enjoy this experience?
Yeah, I think it's fairly wide ranging. I think the first thing that is extraordinary, and probably the biggest change for you, is small ship. I mean, there are other cruise lines that talk about, we've got a small ship of 1,000 people. Our biggest ship is 81 rooms, and that's what we're on right now. So it's 81 rooms. This ship holds the most amount of guests. We have 148. So imagine going to places like Antarctica, where the ship is there from November through March, or coming to Iceland and Greenland, and you're only with 148 guests. So to me, it starts there. And I think people are like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I'm only on a ship, not with 3,000 people, but 148. I think the next part, like you said, people that love to learn. Not like you're back in college, but there's something really extraordinary. I'll give you a great example. Yesterday, I was, in Greenland. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm here. And there's an actual National Geographic photographer who said, hey, when you're taking a picture, turn your phone upside down. So you're able to take better pictures that way if you're taking a picture of like a skull that might be on the ground or a plant. And it hit me, wait a minute, that's a National Geographic photographer who gets paid to take pictures for National Geographic.
Amazing.
Reaching out to say, here's Brent, how you can take better pictures. So in that instance, it was not sitting in a classroom learning, but you're out in the field learning from someone that this is what is extraordinary. Another great example is we have an open bridge policy.
Yes.
So you can go up at any time to go up to the bridge and talk to the captain and his staff. So to me, that's really extraordinary. So it's those types of people that want to learn, want to ask questions. The other thing too is there is a little bit of sense of adventure. It could be somebody that loves to hike, or this trip we haven't done kayaking, but some of the itineraries we go, we kayak or stand up paddleboard. Really like that opportunity to be in nature. I think that's what we try to do, provide those types of experiences. But even if you're somebody who maybe has mobility needs, that's fine too, because we always have options for all sorts of ability levels.
I did go whitewater rafting. It wasn't kayaking, but I did whitewater raft with the National Geographic photographers. So the folks that they're mentioning that are on board, they're very accessible. You're having dinner with these people. You're sitting down for tea. You're able to ask questions. The lectures are small. There's not that many people on the ship, intimate. And we had a lecture this morning about Iceland politics. It was so interesting. It's not just about nature, and that part's been great. So you mentioned some of the destinations. We're here in the Arctic. What are some of the other places that these expedition cruises go to?
Yeah, great question. So when the company was founded, it's incredible to say that in 1966, we took the first group of tourists to Antarctica. So we've been going to Antarctica for 60 years. So much so that I don't know who runs Antarctica, but they named one of their coves Lindblad Cove. So we did that, and then the following year, in 1967, we took the first group of tourists ever to the Galapagos. So Antarctica and the Galapagos are two of our most important destinations to the soul of this company. Both destinations have 4 ships there in season or year-round if it's in the Galapagos. Alaska is really big for us. And a big advantage of that is so many people and so many of your clients have gone with 3,000 people to Alaska. Now imagine going with 100.
Yeah, that's got to be incredible.
And being led by National Geographic, because I think parents will see, hey, I want to take my kids on that. And I think that's something else too that people were really surprised, and probably yourself. We have family programs on board. And so what's really cool is, and so we see parents and grandparents who are like, I want my kids off the phone. I want them learning. And you can't be on your phone if you're stand-up paddleboarding or you're doing whitewater rafting. And that's something we really see a lot of, is these multi-generational groups. You see grandparents are like, I want to create these great memories in places around the world. Another destination that I had the opportunity to visit as well was Baja California.
Oh, wow.
So not the Cabo San Lucas side, but on the other side, the Sea of Cortez. And if you go in that January, February, March time frame, that's when the whales are migrating down there. And we're one of the few cruise lines that cruise down there.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
So really special. Again, it was, when I went, there was only 35 people on board. That ship accommodates up to 100. So really small groups to go to these incredible places.
So what do you, when you're on board, and then I will say there's no typical day, we will say this is also for people who have a little bit of flexibility in their life, because the days, especially in the Arctic here, really do go by the weather conditions and also polar bear conditions. We couldn't land at one spot because there were bears spotted. You're really in the wild and you are at the mercy of nature. But what is a day like, or what's included? What are you doing on these types of trips?
Yeah, I'll answer it this way. I think, one of the hassles of cruising on big cruise lines is kind of the anxiety of, oh my gosh, you spent all this money to go and fly and be there. And then you realize, I gotta still spend thousands of dollars more once I'm on ship. And I think there's something very relaxing and calming here with Lindblad, where it's like, oh, all of your activities and all of your excursions are included.
That's a huge value, especially in a place like Alaska.
Yes.
And where the excursions really add a lot. It could be more than the cruise fare itself. So
Yes.
having all of that with the small group, with the National Geographic folks, with the naturalists, I mean, that's just a great value.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's not a matter of, well, I would like to do that short excursion, but it's going to cost my family and I $2,000 to do it. So, we're just going to stay on board. That's not something that comes up here. You pick it because you want to go. So that's incredible. Wi-Fi is included. Alcohol's included. I mean, after you've been, depending on the destination, snorkeling or hiking or stand-up paddleboarding or whitewater rafting, you may want to have a glass of Chardonnay. It's included. No one's going to nickel and dime you for $12. And I think that's something that's really nice, is that all pretty much everything that's on board is included. You know, if you want a massage, you're going to pay extra for that. If you want to buy something from our World Market, our gift shop, you'll pay extra for that. But I think that overall, there's that real sense of, hey, once you're on board, everything's, for the most part, is included. It really kind of takes out that anxiety of travel.
Yeah, that's one thing that surprised me. I was a little nervous about what the onboard experience would feel like, but I mean, we've had great meals, amazing desserts, plenty of alcohol. And the one thing that's really stood out to, the staff could not be nicer. I mean, everyone knows your name. And I think also traveling with a small group of like-minded folks, like, I'm gonna be so sad when we have to leave all my new friends. You know, everyone gets to know you. We're sharing pictures. We're, you know, talking, having great conversations over meals. So that's been just an added bonus I wasn't expecting. And the rooms are good size, well appointed, have everything you need. I was a little bit nervous about that, but it does feel like a beautiful onboard experience. And then you have all of these great inclusions. So I'm sure people still have some misconceptions about what a vacation or a trip like this is like. What are ones that you hear often?
Gosh, and these were stereotypes I had coming in joining the team. Was, oh, I think the ships are dirty, because the word expedition, you kind of think of like dirty boots, and you kind of think, oh, well, then everything on the ship is dirty. I mean, as you know, Harmony will show you, I'm sure, the ship is really, really well appointed. I mean, it is clean, it's well kept. Really, that's a big focus of ours, because we know people are spending a lot of money to sail with us. And so the expectation is, it's got to be world class. You got to feel like, oh, I'm in a special place and I'm on vacation. Even at something like our mudroom, where we put everything together, what we call base camp, it's clean, well organized. That's something that's nice, is that people are coming on board saying, oh my gosh, this feels like a premium hotel experience or a premium cruise experience. The other thing I hear a lot, which I completely understand, is people saying, oh my gosh, do I need to be a triathlete in order to do this expedition? And I totally understand why people would think that, but that's not true at all. Lindblad, because we've been doing this for 60 years, we know, hey, a lot of the people that are booking us might be older. And so we always have activities for those people that may have mobility needs. You know, what I like to say is, you know, if you can walk the dog for 10 minutes, if you can walk up a flight of stairs, you can definitely do what we do here. The other thing too, that I'm sure you'll show video of is people get the zodiacs. That's how you move around here. So you're not, unlike a typical cruise where you're pulling into a port, you're walking off the ship. For us, we anchor, and then you get into a zodiac, and we will take you ashore. And so some people may think, oh, is it hard getting in and out of the zodiacs? And we are really, really intentional about putting safety first. So even somebody on my build, you are a Navy grip in each arm. They lower you into the zodiac one at a time. And then same thing getting out. And I think that's something that people are like, oh, okay, well, I could do that. And so I think that's certainly something that's great. Overall, I just think the experience that we have is really world class. I mean, you've got people that are really passionate about the places where we're taking people. We want to teach people if they want to learn. And I think the ability to see some of these incredible places that no one's been is really a draw for so many travelers now that have been to all these different places, and the ability to see unique things that other people haven't is really extraordinary.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you're looking for something different, maybe you will push yourself out of your comfort zone a little. The first day we did a really, really hard hike, and I was nervous and I was challenged, but I did it and I felt so good after. And of course I got to see like 360-degree views of Iceland. The Westfjords, incredible, a place where not many visitors do get to go. But I do think that if you're looking for something different, you know, give it a try. You know, they do have 7-8 night itineraries, so it's not a huge commitment. And I think you would be surprised. I think it's, you know, bring the kids, bring the grandkids.
Yes. Yeah, fantastic. Well, Harmony, it was so nice having you. I'm happy that we're able to do this, and thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
We're going to get ready for our next excursion, and be sure to hit the like and subscribe, and do reach out. I'll put all my contact info below if you have any questions about this amazing cruise.